escalation of a near nuclear war. Although the formal blockade and crisis ended on November 21st, 1962, it was the negotiation between the two countries during this period that would help pave the way for future important agreements later to come, including the Moscow-Washington hotline.
Love Field, where a large crowd is gathered now to await the arrival of President and Mrs. John Fitzgerald Kennedy from Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth. This crowd started gathering out here quite early this morning. I was out here at about 7:15, and already a few diehards had gathered early to ensure a good vantage point.
We're heading into nut country, the president remarks to his wife, Jacqueline, after reading a headline on the Dallas Morning News on November 22, 1963. After spending the night at the Hotel Texas, the presidential motorcade departs for Carswell Air Force Base. What he is unaware of is this will be his last flight upon Air Force One. After 5 governmental investigations, it is thought that Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman that killed John F. Kennedy. Others have since done personal investigations and have concluded there was more to this event than just one lone former Marine in the Texas Book Depository building that day in Dallas. Who was Oswald? Lee Harvey Oswald was a former Marine who was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, on October 18, 1939. Oswald defected to the Soviet Union in October 1959 and returned to the United States in June of 1962, bringing with him a Russian-born wife, Marina. 1 year and 5 months prior to the assassination of JFK. Some of his time in the USSR is still a mystery to the world. There are things known. For example, he was briefly under psychiatric care in Moscow of an apparent suicide attempt. Records also indicate he was under previous psychiatric care as a child. Some could make the assumption his mental fitness was in question well before the assassination of JFK. Settling in Dallas, Lee and Marina began friendships with local anti-communist Russians and Eastern Europeans. It was said later that Oswald was rude and arrogant, and that it was more Marina the group enjoyed being around. In April of 1963, retired Major General Edwin Walker suffered a wound to his forearm while sitting at his desk in his home in Dallas. General Walker was an outspoken anti-communist, and it was believed that Lee Harvey Oswald was the attempted assassin. In April 1963, Oswald returned to his place of birth, New Orleans. May of 63, Oswald ordered 500 applications, 300 membership cards, and 1,000 leaflets with the title Hands Off Cuba for a chapter of Fair Play Cuba Committee he created without the consent of the organization. This scene of Oswald handing out flyers is also depicted in the Oliver Stone film JFK. On September 26th, Oswald boarded a bus out of Houston headed to the U.S.-Mexican border. On September 27th, Oswald arrived in Mexico City, where he applied for a transit visa to Cuba. Oswald returned to the United States after being obstructed on his application. On October 18th, his visa was actually cleared by Cuba, but Oswald was needed in Dallas for November 22nd.
All right, I am in the hotel elevator. We are staying at a place called the Hyatt Place in Grand Prairie, Texas. We're about 15 minutes outside of Dealey Plaza, heading there in approximately 15 minutes.
My family and I arrived at the hotel, and though we were there to visit Dallas, I was there to visit Dealey Plaza. We drove down Elm Street, and suddenly, while being stopped at the red light, the Texas Book Depository appeared right in front of us. The light turned green, and we drove our minivan into the parking lot directly behind the book depository that has been there since 1963. We got out of our vehicle.
All right, we just arrived. We are standing outside the book depository building now. There's actually a parking lot here where the railroad tracks go. We've parked here at the book depository building. My mom just said she's with me. She said she got chills.
I got chills.
What are you thinking right now, Mom?
I'm thinking back to 1963.
Where were you?
In grade school. I was 11 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
And now you're back.
And now I'm here.
From the parking lot, I went directly to the stockade fence just above the grassy knoll where I could clearly see an X marked on the road. The X was marked for the kill shot. There are actually 2 X's representing the 2 places JFK was believed to be hit. Although with much of this case, much is debatable. Looking out from the stockade fence, I could clearly see that a shot from here would be plausible and in fact not difficult at all. Many believe that a second gunman was heard firing a shot at this very location.
I am actually standing on the grassy knoll right now, looking at the stockade fence that goes along the curved road here. If there was a second shooter at the grassy knoll, it would have been a very easy kill shot.
Rounding Houston Street and turning left onto Elm, those inside the Lincoln convertible, JFK, Jacqueline Kennedy, Texas Governor John Connally, and his wife Nellie had no idea what was in store. Abraham Zapruder was standing with his 8mm Bell & Howell Zoomatic camera trained on the presidential motorcade. As he followed the vehicle with his camera, a shot rings out. The president's hands raised to his throat. After being obstructed from a street sign, the film Zapruder is taking captures the headshot. The president's right temple appears to explode as he falls left into his wife's arms. His wife Jacqueline jumps on the trunk of the vehicle. Some would suggest that she was trying to help Secret Service agent Clinton Hill inside the vehicle, but actually she was retrieving brain matter from the president's head. The vehicle speeds off under the overpass on Elm and to Parkland Hospital, where President John F. Kennedy would be pronounced dead and become the 4th U.S. president assassinated by a gunshot. All right, that's it for part 1. I'm going to try and get another episode out to you guys on Sunday. We're going to cap this off. We're going to go right into all the conspiracy theories and we're going to do that for part 2. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining me, Matt Truman, on Inspired and Admired. Follow me on Facebook at Inspired and Admired Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at True Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at doc_true_man, all lowercase. If you like the show, please shoot us an email at truepodcast@gmail.com, or even better, if you like the show, write us a review on iTunes or wherever reviews are allowed. Thank you, everybody. See you Sunday, and then Wednesday, I think I got an interview coming. I think I do. Anyway, see you Sunday for the conclusion of the JFK episode.